Claudio Ranieri's been sacked from Leicester City, and I'm not talking after a title win, I'm talking after almost getting relegated, as Leicester City sit with 8 games left, 5 above the drop zone, with a new manager on the horizon suggested by one of the first team players. Yes people, Hamza Chowdhury came to me in the last episode about a new manager, and I went and pulled the trigger. Claudio Ranieri's not in charge anymore. This Leicester team that he's crafted alongside me, he made the signings of Soulé, Mahrez and Mount. I made the rest of them, but it hasn't worked. Also, he signed De Silva because he asked for veterans. Mubama was all my choice, same as Adedeji Sternberg, Pau Sanz, Perfundi. I'll be honest, he helped with the signing of Diawara, asking for a Kante regen. But that Kante regen is definitely not playing up to the hype. We are sitting low in the table. 16th. 5 points clear of Brentford. However, Brentford have a game in hand. They've beat us 2 times this season. We should give it our full focus. However, we lost in the FA Cup and we were embarrassed in the round of 16 of the Carabao. I thought we'd go far in. However, speculation online cannot guess who this manager's going to be. Hamza Chowdhury is the man that's brought him to my office and he arrives any minute. But before I actually go and speak to him, I did loan out in January. Bobby Burnett's a +7. Looks really good from his loan at Bolton Wanderers. Same as Louis Page looking good in Belgium. Hunwoo Park at Wellington Phoenix. Also Jesse Reynolds, he has downgraded to the Championship. As I'm told, this man was with us in the Championship. Hello, you've been invited in. And thanks boss, he says, as this is Jamie Vardy. Hamza's pointed me in this direction. I used to be a club legend here. I see you've signed a new striker. I don't agree with De Silva joining you. Mubama I've admired from far. I'm doing my coaching badges and I know what it feels like to be relegated with Leicester, and I do not want to suffer the same. I want to learn my trade as a manager here at the club that made me in the Premier League. And if I am chatting shit, you have got every right to get me banged. Yes, I'm going to appoint him. Jamie Vardy is in interim charge of Leicester City. Here he is in his tracksuit. He's back at his home, where he spent many years, and you can see the morale of Riyad Mahrez has significantly jumped up. And with Leicester City playing the 4-4-2 in the title-winning season, it looks like Jamie Vardy's going to play this formation, which he obviously was used to. He's got his ex-teammate Thomas and Chowdhury back into the lineup, with Mahrez pushed out wide, Mubama and Perfundi as the strikers. The shape of the players are still a bit all over the place, but there he is for his first game. Fulham we host. It's at the King Power, so he's got that warm welcome back to a club he almost spent 15 years at. Mawissa on their wing. He's still going with Soulé at right back. Koulibaly obviously was a right back. Stupidly changed him. Another player out of position, but Fulham just playing for time. I think these are just above us in the table. Surely 3 points here is a huge step away from the relegation zone. They're just stepping back further. Sanderberg steps out of the line. Player that I looked at signing onto Emil Smith-Rowe. I don't like how they are just playing for time though. Perfundi squeezes this out wide. They are a very physical team. Mubama chipped it a bit much for Adedeji Sternberg. But still, at half-time, we are more than surviving here. No changes to be made by Vardy. He's keeping Hamza at centre-back as well, which is weird because when he was a player here, Hamza Chowdhury was in the central midfield position, or DM, with Mason Mount used to being in the cam position. Really pressing up the field with 2 strikers, less defensive cover. Mubama keeps hold of the ball. Mason Mount slips it back into the Englishman. English link up from the English manager. Is he going to be getting the best out of Divin Mubama? 13th goal of the season. He celebrates on the sidelines, potentially plotting a change. Jamie Vardy's having a party. Bring your Premier League survival hopes. We're going to need them. Riyad Mahrez steals the ball straight off his man. Now we go again. Beautiful click. Terrible tackle. Thomas has played well today, especially for a 70 rated in the Premier League. Daniel Ozzo, he's charging through. 2 Englishmen in the midfield. Mount has to score today. I don't know if Vards and Mason Mount were actually teammates in the England squad, but he's really putting in a shift here. Sasa Lukic out wide into Kevin. I'm liking the dedication. Daniel Ozzo, a brilliant touch. Andre De Silva to run it now. He's got the man in front of him. It is Mubama. If he can get this back in the middle, this is surely to kill the game off. One of Claudio Ranieri's signings I thought was a terrible one. Andre Da Silva gets Leicester are huge 3 points here. I love Jamie Vardy already, but as you can see, some of the positions of the players don't like him too much. Mahrez is actually out of position. Now, Soulé for Koulibaly, that's a basic swap, but yeah, that rating back up. Thomas did really play well, but can we trust him for the entirety of the end of the season? I'm not sure, and I think we do speak to Simone Pafunde. Simone, you're a huge player. I know we've got a manager that doesn't play your style, but I'd just like to say as the chairman, because I don't know if it's coming off from the manager, you will play a part in this team. Always. And he says, thanks boss, it's nice that you're trying to be a little bit reassuring, but I'm not assured long term with Jamie Vardy as the appointed manager. I'm not going to speak to the press or anything, but I do think if we don't make significant progress, I see a lot of Serie A clubs are looking at me, and I do want to make a big name for myself. That's fair enough from him, as I'm going to train him to be on the left-hand side. Mahrez on the right, although 50 weeks is a long time. And Sammy Braybrook is now 24. He's been out of the team a little bit, but I have seen the Player of the Year vote. I've gave it 4 days from the last poll at the end of last season. And Sammy Braybrook is set to win, so I'm going to give him a +1 overall at the end of this season, because when we put out another vote for the season upcoming, then we're going to go ahead and upgrade him. But if you're enjoying this series so far, please do smash a like. It helps grow the channel, and subscribe if you're new around here. We're on the race to 5k. We're in the race for survival, with a huge travel to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium up next. Very, very glamorous. Maybe should be in the Championship by now, but Diawara, let's get started off. Pau Sanz, he cuts inside, needs that option through the middle. Andre Da Silva starting. He's pretty tired, but that's a good shot. But now we're away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Come on, we need a huge result here. The team got well rested, not many changes. Da Silva starts in this one. Leonardo starts the scoring. Okay, is the Jamie Vardy honeymoon over before it even begun? I'm hoping not. I love the guy. I'd love to give him the permanent job. Saves me going out and tracking a new manager, but Simeone Pafunde, that's through the middle, and plus, he doesn't know if he's staying. Pafunde, that's a brilliant finish. Da Silva instantly level a game with more than 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, and did I just see it said it was his 4th goal of the season? That man must have hit form, as Burkhardt, he scored earlier on in the year to stop us from getting a win there. Leonardo with another good shot. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, here's Pafunde on the left. Cuts inside again. This man's threatening to leave. But how can we lose a man of that quality? Changes being made. Collins headed down into Will Alves. Him and Sammy Braybrook through the middle, which is a bit of a risk, but we're doing it for fatigue reasons. Da Silva's got a lot of energy because he's obviously been out of the team a while. Ran straight into Radu Dragusin on that occasion. Hang about though. Pafunde, Braybrook, Sammy Braybrook. He's just come back in the team and he scores off the bench. Last year's Player of the Season. Treated very harshly this year. Claudio Ranieri didn't get it right. Jamie Vardy celebrating the youngsters' first goal of the season. And that should be our first win against a top 6 club that we've played in-game after we bottled Arsenal. We're up to 14th after a few simulations before that Tottenham game. 11 wins in the season. We beat Manchester City before it, lost to Bournemouth as well. But that is a huge result for Jamie Vardy. But I've got to speak to Jamie. Unfortunately, mate, I know you're doing really well. I know it's pre the end of the season, but I just want to be transparent as a club owner. You will be not staying as the manager. You will be moved on at the end of the season. But thank you for everything you have done and are doing. I can see the fans respect you. Okay, and it hasn't upset any players that I'm speaking about the manager that's improving them going. Apart from Sammy Braybrook, who we did just get that goal for. And yeah, I just want to be looking after Simone Pafundi, our 81 rated. Chased up by Collins, but when we do look at goals, not many games left of this season. With Mason Mount grabbing 7 goals, 5 assists, under the radar, and if you remember the promise he made start of the season, he took a smaller wage, but I said I would sign him up for another year if he did get 5 goals and 5 assists. He kind of promised us, and I'm so glad he's responded with it. He stays in this starting 11 over Sammy Braybrook, but also Adobe is into the team because Diawara's picked up an injury. Penultimate game of the season at Anfield. I think because now we're technically almost safe, I am going to risk playing some of these big teams. Ekatike, of course, don't like that news on that injury, said it in a previous video. As Daniel Adobe tries to get the ball and run away. Mubama, De Silva through the middle. He finds him. It's a slick turn. And that is the quality of Andre De Silva. Reinvented now that Claudio Ranieri is out of the door. And we're playing for fun because we should be surviving, should be getting the ball back straight away, and just going at them in this 4-4-2. Mubama, that is an easy turn. The defender, Colombo, not strong enough. Mubama, it's 2-0. He ain't losing it. Oh my days, he's 15th in his first Premier League campaign. To be fair, it does seem like Liverpool are a little bit on the beach, but they've got their good players out. Sule, De Silva, he turns, he gets a brilliant ball through to Mason Mount, who's just signed up for a few more years. That is an incredible finish. Where's this Leicester been all season? Maybe we do keep Jamie Vardy at this point. What an excellent manager. And Ekatike, that is a terrible header away. Evans is now onto the field. I thought I'd give him a bit of a run out. Mount onto Perfunde, gets away. Ozor, that is through the middle. It could be Perfunde. He's missed. A chance for 4 at Anfield. That would have genuinely been so funny. And Nelson got onto the field in the meantime when we made substitutions. Mahrez, don't try it. We've only got 3 minutes left. Their defenders are really, really tired. Camozzo's not being good. Desiree Doué's now onto the field. They must have won the league by now already because surely this isn't a performance of a team chasing a title. It must almost be done. And in our final game of the season, we're a bit more grounded. A 3-1 loss at home to Sunderland. But Jamie Vardy did a brilliant job. We survived by 8 points. West Ham, rock bottom, sinking like a stone. I'm going to look at their players. Man United out of the top few. And yeah, Liverpool must have lost the league before they played us. Makes sense they did. Arsenal beating Everton on penalties. Carabao Cup was Liverpool's as well, so they've got a trophy anyway. Champions League's a German affair. Europa League's Manchester City's. And Conference League, I like them teams. Copenhagen and Genk. We did shop at Genk. We got Adedeji Sternberg, who's been dropped out of the squad. Another reason we need to get rid of Vardy because he's not playing the players we paid a lot for. As you just saw, Perfundi, another zoom in. He's been one of my most credible players, same as Mubama, and I've got to say Mason Mount. Despite Andre De Silva's good form at the end of the season, the other nominee that I do want to put on here is the man. Yes, we finished 14th, but in the goal, I thought Stolarek, despite a 5.94 rating, was pretty good at points. Made match-winning saves, draw-winning saves. If you go to the community tab on the page, you can go ahead and vote for your player of the year, getting that increase. And yeah, this formation can't stand because we don't have fullbacks. Perfundi can't play out wide. We need someone maybe with a cam, maybe still 3 at the back. We've been very disciplined as the player of the year is Gabriel Martinelli of Simeone's Arsenal. However, who's not at the other clubs? We can now check the manager market. Now that Jamie Vardy's leaving, Guardiola's not at Manchester City, Schlott should be available. I am going to actually check the championship. If anybody's hiding in this division with a big name, we can bring him back up. Quique Flores, Michael Carrick is in charge of Birmingham. Lundstrom. Mikel Arteta is at Espanyol in 15th place over in La Liga. There's managers out of jobs and everything. Keith Andrews is at Girona. But I've got a decision to make and you guys have a decision to make. Let me know in them comments below. And please, like I said, smash that like button. Who we should get next as the Leicester gaffer.